Welcome to the fifth episode of the Nabeel Naqvi podcast. I'm your guest host today, Shan, Malik, and today we have a awesome guest. His name is Mohammed Hafeez. So, Mohammed Hafeez, tell us a little bit about yourself.
First of all, thank you very much for inviting me here. My background has been quite diverse. I am one of the very pioneers in Canada. I came very early, many years ago. It was when I came, there was no CN Tower. There were only two TD towers across the skyline, and everything, all the other buildings developed in subsequent years. I have been a banker. I was a licensed immigration consultant for more than 20 years. I was a financial management consultant for many, many years. So that diverse experience, so dealing with different kind of situations and businesses, that gave me that kind of expertise. Expertise is a big word, but that kind of knowledge and experience, which can be very well utilized in mediation these days.
Sounds good. It sounds like you have a lot of experience, which is great, for our viewers out there.
Thank you.
I'll go right into it, actually.
Indeed.
So people often confuse mediators with lawyers or judges. So in the room, are you the referee, the architecture, or somebody entirely different?
It really, these are different people with different roles. When you're dealing with a lawyer is a person who represents one party. And his or her interest would always be what's the best interest of their client, one party only. When it comes to mediation, this is where the mediator tries to get the people to such a final agreement which both can live with. And there's no single-sided approach here at all. When it comes to a judge hears the evidence and then gives a ruling that is law. So basically, these are all three very different responsibilities that they carry. But most important of all, mediation is the one which is covers so many areas. It could be covering your family mediation, family disagreements. It could be business disputes. It could be commercial conflicts. Then there are neighborhood complex disputes. Yeah. So all these things, they are there, which can be resolved through proper mediation.
Mm-hmm. That sounds like a lot of stuff, which is good.
Thank you.
Was there a specific case or a moment in your career that you realized that this is it? I want to become a mediator.
I have, during the course of my immigration practice and also financial management practice, I saw many times there were opportunities when there were easier answer to people's conflicts and disputes. Mm-hmm. But many people, they are discouraged because they feel that they are not being heard. So mediation is one area of ADR, which is alternate dispute resolution process, which gives them an opportunity to explain themselves, discuss their inner inhibitions, and if there are any emotions, all these things are surfaced, and then a mediator structures the environment in such a way to find solutions to those concerns and issues.
For someone sitting at home feeling overwhelmed, what's the litmus test for someone choosing mediation over the courtroom?
Courtroom, when you have a dispute or a conflict, you have a choice to go to court, or you have the choice to go to mediation. When you go to court, there are certain distinct features of the court. Number one, there could be very high legal costs. Number two, you could never control the timing of your decision. It could be a few weeks, it could be months or even longer. You have no idea if the final decision is going to be in your favor or not. Mm-hmm. When you go to mediation, you have answers to all these questions. Number one, it relatively takes short time to go through the mediation process. Number two, legal costs are very minimal, And also, the decision is in your hand. You are the judge of your own case. You will decide whether a situation, a final resolution you can live with or not. In a ideal situation, it should be that the both parties should come out as a winner.
Okay, sounds good. Now, I kind of want to talk about family versus fortune.
Yes.
So you handle both family inheritance and business disputes. At their core, are they fueled by the same fire, or is the psychology behind them completely different?
The conflicts and disputes can arise anywhere. When you have a difference of opinion, it can, next stage of that is that it turns into a conflict or dispute. And that is where whether it is a family situation or whether it is a business situation, those disputes or conflicts need to be addressed. First thing that we need to do in a mediation situation is that we have to separate the interest from the positions. People usually stick to their position. I want to be a winner. At the end of the day, I am going to be the winner versus the other party. Those positions are to be avoided in mediation. You, through dialogue, through encouraging open communications, we try to get to the bottom of the issues.
Yep.
If there are emotions, we would like to figure out where those emotions are coming from. If there are any underlying conditions bringing up those emotions, address those, and then try to work through communication, through a dialogue, towards a resolution that both parties can live with.
Sounds very interesting.
Thank you.
The next part I want to get into, actually, when you're in the room, how does it feel, right? Tell us, from start to finish.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's a very interesting question.
Yeah.
We start out the mediation process by mutual introductions. Then we explain the basic rules. Primarily, what we emphasize upon the fact is that if one person is speaking, the other person should not interrupt. And we ask both the parties, one after the other, what their concerns, what their issues are, why they are here. Okay. And after those conversations, we try to figure out what the real issues are. Are these emotions? Are these interest? Are these what? So we try to figure out what the issues are, and then through dialogue, through communications, try to figure out what the solution might be. We could even ask the parties, what do you think is the answer? Can you explain to me or clarify to me when you say that I would want to have the business ownership at the end? Really, what did you mean by it? So we try to create questions over questions, so just to get to the bottom of the thing. Getting away from the emotion, but getting to the real, pardon the lingo, nitty-gritty, what exactly it is.
I kind of want to get into the bad faith of things. So can mediation actually work if one party is clearly unreasonable, or is there a point where you just have to call it?
Mediation does not stop us from dealing with an unfair person. The only thing is that sometime we have to go in a separate situation. We call it caucus. We go into a separate room and try to impress upon the quote-unquote unfair person what the basic rules are. Why are you here? There is a certain accomplishment that you are looking for. And what are those? If you want to get to those, don't you think that we should be more upfront with what we need and come out with what exactly you require, rather than expressing yourself in such a tone that one would feel that it's not very fair, you're working in bad faith? No, it is not. Most people would want to be heard. And if this situation involves hearing the people, this is the judgment call for mediator. If it is if the person would want to express himself, his emotions, in a private setting where other party is not there, so then you can pick up what their interests are, what their goals are, and how
Yeah.
can those be achieved.
Sounds very interesting. I think
Thank you.
it would be good to sit in with you one day and kind of see, how it goes and how it goes down, basically, right?
Would look forward to doing that. Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
Now, if our listeners are in a heated argument tonight, what's a professional technique that one can lower their temperature?
That's a very interesting question. Yes. Emotions are there typically emotions are mostly in family situations. And they are there because of the history. People carry their baggage. They have their own old grudges. And those are the underlying conditions which bring up the emotions. So in that particular situation, caucus is a very good answer. We basically have a meeting, one-on-one meeting with each party, equal time, being fair, and then trying to figure out what exactly is the basis of this emotion. It is the interest or it is the positions. If it is the positions, then we've got to get away in discussion from position to the interest and figure out what exactly is on this individual's mind as a final goal of mediation.
Yeah. No, it sounds like almost like when you're there, it's like you're not just playing mediator, but a psychologist, a therapist, a counselor, multiple, careers in one room, right?
Shan, a mediator has what we call a toolbox. There are so many approaches as how a certain situation is to be handled. We go to that toolbox depending on the situation at hand. And we try to find the right tool for the right. Many of the situations where emotions are involved, dialogues and caucus discussion, they are very, very helpful. Once you have got to a point where you are understanding what the underlying conditions are there, which are causing these emotions.
Yeah.
Once you know them, then you can find a solution to them with the help of the client. I repeat, mediator is not a judge.
Yeah.
The decisions have to come voluntarily from the parties towards a resolution.
I see. Now, how do you recommend someone prepare mentally for mediation so that they don't sabotage their own outcome?
Again, very interesting question. When you come to a mediation, you should be clear on what your goals are. You have to set your own goals, and then you have to find out what sort of flexibility, or at least in your mind, you should prepare yourself what sort of flexibilities you are going to exercise in the course of mediation. If you go with a rigid condition, mediation is not going to be helpful.
Okay.
If you go with some flexibility, you know what you want to give and take, then of course the mediation becomes much more productive and helpful. Very interesting part in this situation, again, is that communications.
Yeah.
Through communications, we try to drive those things which are being hurdled in the way of the parties, which are causing conflicts and causing disputes. Once we, through communication, through dialogue, and through those techniques that I mentioned, the toolbox, we try to figure out what those interests are, and again, trying to get away from the positions into the interests.
Okay, yeah. The toolbox sounds, we could definitely go into the toolbox tools maybe one day.
Very happy to have you visit.
A different podcast. But let's actually go into, without, of course, naming names, can you share a story where a case looked totally disastrous, but at the end there was a breakthrough?
Yes, there is a situation that I can very well recall. Parents decided to retire, and their business is being taken over by two siblings. And one person wants to sell the business, pocket the money, and move on.
Yeah.
The other person wants to continue on with the business. And the situation is that we cannot satisfy both their interests at the same time. So in this particular case, again, caucus meetings were held between the parties, with the parties, and then we figured out what the options could be to help this situation. How do we resolve the situation? What options are there? So one option in this particular case was that instead of selling the business, maybe have the other sibling join the business with some responsibilities and rewards, and set a timeline, definitive timeline when this business could actually be sold. And the second option was that the person who wants to cash in on the business, his share could be bought out by the remaining partner, and so on. So the end result in this particular situation was that a definitive timeline was set, and how this person who would want to depart would be awarded some compensation for his share. And then the whole thing was resolved. And the best part was that this resolution ended up mending the relations.
Okay, that's good. Yeah. Okay, thank you for that. We're just gonna take a short break, and we'll be back. Thank you.
Hey everybody, the Nabeel Naqvi podcast is brought to you by Affinity Law, my law firm. We're a full service firm, which means if it touches your life, we probably cover it. Buying or selling a home, you already know. Our real estate team makes sure you're protected. Running a business, our corporate lawyers help you grow with confidence. If you're injured in an accident, we'll fight to get you compensated with our best personal injury lawyers. Facing workplace issues, our employment lawyers are on your side. Planning for the future or moving to Canada, wills, estates, immigration, we have you covered every step of the way. At Affinity Law, you don't just get a lawyer. You get a team that protects your interests across every part of your life and business. Affinity Law, full service, no nonsense. Now let's get into the show.
So welcome back, everybody. So we're going into a couple more in-depth questions. Indeed. And hopefully, from your knowledge, the viewers can, see the amount of knowledge you have and actually reach out for help when they need it, right? So in conflict, usually about math, the money and the contracts, or is it almost always a communication breakdown in disguise?
Experience suggests that money really is not always the problem. The problem is that many people feel like they are not being heard. They are not getting involved in the business decision. They are not getting involved in family decisions. Okay. When they are being left out, that is when people get hurt, and that's when the people get disgruntled. Emotions get high, and so on. And those are the situations which a mediator who is a professional would want to address those situations in the way that these emotions kind of come down into phase into a situation where we can look for options and we can find resolutions. That's right. And most of these things have to come from the parties voluntarily. They are the one who are responsible for the final outcome of the mediation. Mediator is not. So the only role in this particular situation a mediator would play would be to guide them, navigate them properly towards the right decision.
Now, I know you touched on the emotional part and then the business side, right?
Yes.
So how do you draw that fine line between emotion and business when you're in the room between the parties?
Emotions usually run high in family situations, and these are history driven.
Yeah.
And the businesses are mostly focused on targets and future growth. When a family situation, there are so many types of conflicts that one can get involved in. For example, there could be property division, there could be disagreement between husband and wife, there could be in-law situations, all kinds of, there's a whole variety of conflicts that we end up dealing with. But the thing is that how do we resolve those situations in an amicable way that the both parties can live with? A business situation is pretty well the same. Decisions involved in business are the ones which usually cause the conflicts. If somebody is being left out in decision making, or people are not involved in hiring and firing, or there is a power imbalance, those situations cause conflicts, and those are the ones that we need to address through mediation.
Yeah. Now, you made a lot of really good points. I wanted to actually talk to you about when you use the future, right? So, for example, those entrepreneurs or those future mediators, what kind of advice do you have for them?
Basically, first of all, we have to address what the conflicts are, what the disputes are, what the differences of opinions are.
Yeah.
It is a difference of opinion that turn into conflicts and disputes. We have to find out what those irritants are. And then we have to address those irritants through mediation, through dialogue. And I have been mentioning caucus, which is a very, very, very useful tool in resolving emotions. If when you have a separate meeting with the party and you are addressing, you're trying to figure out what exactly their interests are, staying away from the position, going into interest, and trying to find out what exactly their interests are. And once you get into a more constructive dialogue, then the emotion seems to evaporate.
Okay, yeah. I see emotions is a big thing. Of course it is. That's such a thing that we all are part of. It's part of our, our nature, and it's a thing you have to control, especially in the room. Now, of course, we're in 2026. So in our digital age, fast-paced world, do you think we're getting better at talking to each other, or are we losing the art of compromise?
I think the best thing for any people having differences of opinion or conflicts, first choice should be to negotiate themselves. If they can figure out a way to resolve the issues amongst themselves, nothing better than that. But if that does not work out, then you have other options. Then you go to court, or you go to mediation, you go to adjudication, and that's precisely where a role of a professional mediator comes in very handy. The differences emerge in every situation, may it be family, may it be business, but how to resolve them, how to address them head on, how to handle the situation. Those are the things that really a professional mediator gets involved in and try to resolve. It is, getting back to your question originally, as I said, ideally, if both the parties can have a mutual agreement on their issues, fine. But if there are stories behind it, if there are baggage behind it, it's very difficult for them because emotions get involved. And then professional involvement does help. Of course,
yeah. Professional involvement at the end of the day, I think, is a key thing, and it fixes a lot of relationships, whether it be family, business, inheritance, whatever it is. In your experience, of course, you've seen that.
That's right.
If there was one thing people could take away from today, what would it be from you?
If there is a conflict or a dispute on your mind, or if any worry on your mind, if there's a lawsuit going on and you are losing your sleep over it, try to address it. Try to address it how? You have the options of going to court. You have the option to go to alternate means. ADR, which is alternate dispute resolution process, which is the mediation. That is one route which is becoming very popular these days. What you should have is you should have a clear understanding of what you would want to accomplish at the end of the day.
Okay.
What do you want out of it? Stay away from the position. You don't want to be a winner. Winner is something else. Money is last thing. For most people, it is what exactly they want to get out of mediation at the end. Most of the people, as I said before, it is not the money. It's not the being a winner. It is what exactly is your interest.
Yeah.
What turns you on when you want to go home? What sort of happy news you want to take it with you?
Yeah.
And for that, you plan ahead, be flexible, listen to the mediator's guidance,
Yeah.
and then try to find a resolution which is agreeable to both, that both can live with.
Yeah. Well, that was a very detailed answer, and it was really comprehensive. And I'm glad that we had the chance to speak today. Do you have any final thoughts?
I would say if there's anything that you're losing your sleep on, let's talk about it. Mediation or not, that is not the question. The thing is that through discussion, we should try to find an answer which is that you can live with, that is going to satisfy your interest and needs. Thank you.
Thank you.